Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 16 of the Talk of Fame podcast. I'm Kylie, and if you haven't noticed, we have the wonderful Hana Elzohiry with us today. But instead of me introducing you, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us more about what you do?
Yeah, for sure. So hi, I'm Hannah. I am a graphic designer, photographer, travel bug, Netflix binge watcher. I literally do too much. And I'm in Toronto, so lovely old Canada. It's getting really cold here. And I'm super excited to just chat with you today.
Oh, I'm so glad to talk to you too. You said you love Netflix and all that. What is your favorite show to watch on Netflix, or a movie or a documentary or whatever?
Oh, that's hard. Okay, so my favorite show to watch is not actually on Netflix. I had to buy it on iTunes, but it's One Tree Hill. So I'm a big One Tree Hill fan. I watch it way too many times in a year. It's kind of bad. And then in terms of movies, I love to watch the Harry Potter movies. So those are like my go-tos. But recently, I just finished On My Block, so that was a really cool one. I just watched Pretty Smart. So I'm always kind of keeping up to date with what the latest Netflix releases are, and I love kind of just being in someone else's story for a little bit. So
Yeah, I'm a movie kind of geek, in terms of movies. I'm always behind on watching things that are new. But when people ask me if something to watch, if I something new comes up, they'll be like, "Oh, have you watched Squid Game, sir?" For example, I'll be like,
yeah.
no, I heard it's popular. Do you recommend? And they're like, yeah, I recommend it. It's amazing. So I'm like, oh, I need to keep myself up because I'm usually the person that likes to binge watch the same thing over and over again, like Ginny in Georgia.
Yeah.
Grace. I'm like, oh God, what am I doing to myself right now?
Yeah, no, I do that too. Like if I find a show I really like, I'll like or a movie I really like, I'll keep rewatching it. So like when Julie and the Phantoms came out, I think I rewatched that show like 7 or 8 times in like a week or something like that. And then when A Week Away came out, I remember I watched it like for a week pretty much at least once a day. So I totally get it, but I also have not seen Squid Game yet. So
Me either. Me either. Let me know when you watch it. We need to watch it together or something. The only thing people have been talking about is Squid Games. I'm like, oh, I need to watch this show. But I'm trying to binge watch everything I've been binging before I binge watch Squid Games.
exactly.
Yeah, so since we're talking about we've been quarantined, binge watching shows or movies, have you really, it's kind of like we were talking about before, but have you been watching something before, or watching something new that you've kind of been watching? It's kind of similar to the same question before.
Yeah, I watched The Resident quite recently. So I love Grey's, but there's too many seasons and I have to keep
Yeah.
rewatching it to like stay up to date with it. So I
Yeah.
was rewatching The Resident because it's a similar show but kind of a different plot as well at the same time. So that was really cool. That was a recent one that I watched. And then kind of like in quarantine, there was just a lot of like the Netflix originals that I had nothing else to do. So just watched, did some puzzles, and tried to get some work done at the same time.
Yeah, I'm saying here. Sometimes I just get too lazy to do more work and just watch Netflix and just
Exactly.
I just need to watch Netflix. I don't care.
Exactly. Yep. So thankfully like I work as a graphic designer, so like I can have something playing and then like working at the same time, so I can't complain too much about that. But
Yeah,
it definitely
exactly.
is nice to be able to just watch something and not really worry too much about anything else. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm usually the person, whenever I'm doing schoolwork, because I'm a freshman in high school, and then whenever I'm editing a video or figure out questions for the interview. And I'm that person where if I miss a part in a show I'm watching, or I'm usually the person that likes to watch the shows or movies that I already
Yeah.
watched, so I basically know what happens. I'm not the type of person that likes to watch something new while I'm doing something. Because I'm the person that likes to replay the things over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
The point where I'm like, oh, okay, that's what happened again. I
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
it again, but
Sorry, just give me just 1 second. My dog's like gonna whine. She wants to get out. 1 second. So sorry about that.
Okay, my dogs are the same exact way. My dog's like attention freak. Like attention freak.
Yeah, my dad just got home, so she's like, I want to get out. I'm like, okay, I'll let you out.
Yeah, same exact way. So as you mentioned
Yeah.
before, you live in Canada, and like you said, it's freezing. And I live in Pennsylvania, so it's really getting really cold at the moment. Like,
Yeah.
what is it like living in Canada? Like, what is the kind of like atmosphere like? Since like in case like no one went down to Canada, like Canada is not that far from where I am. Because I'm at upper state of Pennsylvania. But like,
Yep.
what is kind of like your favorite things to do like in Canada or like where you live?
Yeah, so I live in Toronto, so I live a 7-hour drive away from Pennsylvania. So actually, I did it a couple years ago, right before COVID. I drove to Philly with my brother. So
Oh, really? I
we
live
used
like
to,
2 hours outside of Philly.
oh, cool. Yeah, so we drove there. It was more Lancaster than Philly, but it was really nice because we just got to like travel. But um, honestly, like we have a lot of like hiking trails here,
Oh,
and a
yeah.
lot of like waterfall areas and places where you can just like not feel like you're in Ontario, but you are in Ontario.
Oh,
So
yeah.
lots of road trips. We get a lot of concerts, so I love going to concerts.
Oh, me
Um,
too.
Hockey games, basketball games, baseball games, like literally anything like social interaction. And then we do like a lot of road trips. So my friends and I would like road trip it to a place 4 hours from us and like just camp out for a week, or we'll drive up to Montreal because it's only 6 hours, or like across the border, we'll go to Buffalo or something because we're so close to Niagara Falls that it's like a 40-minute drive type of thing. So it's just a lot of like outings with friends and just hanging out with people. So that's kind of my favorite thing to do, but also kind of explore Canada a little bit more. So we have a lot of mountains in the West Coast. So a lot of kind of like, traveling and getting to see that stuff is also kind of really cool because it's different because I live in like a major city versus places like Alberta that are very mountain and urban and not a lot of people and buildings. It's more just nature. So that's always really cool and something fun that I get to do for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Like I agree with that completely. Like the only part I've been to Canada was Niagara Falls a couple years ago when I was really young. And like same thing with here in Pennsylvania, it's like surrounded by mountains, like everywhere it's a mountain. And like
Mhm.
I'm a sports fanatic actually. Like I'm a music freak. I actually love going to concerts, sports games. That's my whole life.
Yeah.
Everything I do. If you someone probably be asking me like, where you at? I'm probably be like, oh, I'm at a sports game right now. Like
Yeah.
this is
So
what
what's your favorite sports team?
so like if it were baseball, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers. Um,
Okay.
well, for NFL, it's like a Seahawks, which you're not doing too good right now, to be honest with you. Well, in my NBA team's the Lakers, but like I don't really have favorite like NBA team, but like it's basically anything. But like last week, when I just got back from Florida a couple days ago.
Yeah.
My brother plays like travel baseball and stuff, so we've been
Cool.
and stuff. So we just went down to West Palm Beach and we
Nice.
to Miami. And it's about like a half-hour drive from there.
Yeah.
We decided to go at my Miami Heat game, and it's a preseason right now. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, why not go? I've never been to NBA game before, so I'm like, I've been waiting for this moment right now. I want to go. I'll say I don't care if you buy me a single ticket. I'm going to that game. Or, like you made me go to Florida for Jesus, my brother's tournament. I need something to do on my own. Like,
Yeah.
alone.
No, fair. Yeah. I totally
Yes,
agree.
I'm like, I need my own time. I need my time to shine. I need some free time. You guys can do you two crazy has your own thing, and I can do mine. This
Yeah. Yeah.
own space. But like, what is your favorite sports teams?
So I love anything Toronto. I'm
Oh
a
yeah.
Toronto Maple Leafs fan for hockey, Toronto Blue Jays for um, baseball, the Raptors. I'm not a big basketball fan, but like I will cheer for the Raptors when it comes up. And then football, I'm just slowly getting into. So I don't really have a favorite team, but I just watch and enjoy and cheer for whoever's winning.
Yeah, I'm the same exact way. Same exact way. Like I
Yeah.
live like I don't really necessarily have like a favorite and I can't speak NHL team. Like
Mhm.
I'm probably my sister a Penguins fan, Pittsburgh Penguins, since I live in Pennsylvania and stuff.
Yeah.
And I actually live like about 20 minutes on their like minor league hockey team, so I can go to
Cool.
which is not that far.
Yeah.
You mentioned before that you like to go to concerts. Like, do you have like a favorite concert you've been to, or like your latest concert you've been to?
Oh, okay. So latest concert was Maroon 5. That was
Oh, so lucky.
September. So it was like right when we started opening up after the pandemic. And the last concert I went to before COVID was the Jonas Brothers. So it was a nice kind of like sandwich of shows. In terms of favorite, like honestly, I can't pick one. Obviously, I'm a big Niall Horan fan and I'm a big Jonas Brothers fan. So those two would definitely be like the two highlights. But I also got to see like Shawn Mendes and Harry Styles and Ariana Grande. So I've gotten the chance to see a lot of different artists, and they're all just absolutely amazing. So I'm very, very excited that concerts are coming back. I have one in a couple of weeks, which is super exciting. So it's kind of nice to just be able to do something that is normal
Yeah.
after like a year and a half of just sitting and twiddling our thumbs because we didn't know what was happening. So
Yeah, like I me and you get along so well. I'm actually a massive Jonas Brothers fan.
as you should be, I have all of their vinyl records.
Oh, really? I know every song and lyrics. So if someone names something, I'll be like, oh yeah, I know that.
Yep, yep.
So I actually saw him a couple of weeks ago in Hershey for my birthday. It was even for my
Yeah.
birthday. I went to see him for my birthday. And I remember I literally lost my voice after the concert. I was like screaming my voice
Yep.
out.
Yep.
And like, what concert are you going to in a couple of weeks? Like, do you have any?
I'm seeing JP Sachs. So he's the
Oh,
next
really?
artist that I've gotten tickets for. And then I also have like Justin Bieber next year. I've got 5 Seconds of Summer next year. So I've got a couple lined up. I'm hoping to get a couple more tickets, but we're seeing if people actually show up. So Jonas Brothers, if you by any chance see this podcast, please come to Toronto because I would love to see you guys.
I come to Toronto. Like I literally like they're about to perform in Florida. When I was down there, they just got off of Florida. And they're in Florida right now, but like
Yeah.
I was literally big. I saw they're on the schedule that they're playing in Florida. I was like, Dad, can you take me to this? So I want to go. He's like, Kylie, we're leaving in 2 days. I can't switch your flight. I was like, I can stay here. I'll come back home. Like, I want to go to another concert.
Yeah, my friend lives in Florida, so I was like, what if I just come see you and we go to a concert together because we're not getting anyone here. So it's been very like hard because a lot of my favorite artists aren't coming to Toronto, but our land borders were also closed. So like there's like a lot more to it than just like they actually just legally can't come into the country. So I get it, but I'm hoping soon like people will start like slowly releasing tickets and stuff, and we'll be able to do something that makes me very, very happy. But,
the concert.
I'm jealous. I really want to see them remember this tour. So.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. I like actually saw him like last year before COVID hit. I went to Los Angeles for a baseball game, and like they saw him like they're performing in like a small like venue.
Yes, yeah.
And like I went to see him. I at that point I was starting to grow as a Jonas Brothers fan, but now I wasn't as big as a Jonas Brothers fan as I am now. I didn't really know any of the songs. I'm like, what am I gonna do? And we're leaving next morning and come back to PA. So I'm like, oh, we might as well leave right now. On right now, but I've been a Nick Jonas fanatic since I was a kid. So I'm like, I don't want to see Nick Jonas. Like,
yes, fair. As you should. Yeah.
As you should. Yeah. Like over the last year, like the thing I really missed the most was concerts and seeing my friends and things we used to.
Yeah.
I like before COVID, I used to be such a busy person. Like I used to keep myself busy, but after COVID, hey, I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm usually a busy person. What am I gonna do? Like, what am I supposed to do? I have nothing on my calendar. Like, what am I gonna do with myself?
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. It drove me insane. Like, I was like, what am I gonna do with my life? And like,
I just filled my time with puzzles. I did a lot of puzzles.
Yeah, I did like mostly coloring most of the time. I'm like, oh, I don't care. I'm just gonna do something to keep my mind busy. But like, I have my cousins down in Florida, so I'm like, you say you have like a friend down there, and I literally try to text my cousin. I was like, he was on the other side of the state. He's in Tampa and I'm in West Palm Beach. I was like, hey, can I come stay with you? And so I can go to concert. He's like, my dad was like, Kylie, do you understand? Like, we're leaving tomorrow. It's like 4 hours from where we are. Like, get out of bed. I'm like, no, I can come home. I can get myself a ticket. Like,
Yeah.
it'll work out perfectly.
Like, totally get it. I haven't gotten the chance to like travel for concerts yet. The only one was like Ariana Grande. My sister and I saw her in Buffalo because we couldn't make the Toronto show. So like, but again, like that was just a 40-minute drive from home, right? So it wasn't like too big of like a change. I mean, yes, we needed our passports, but I was supposed to see Niall in London, so that was going to be exciting. But again, COVID happened and tour got canceled, so that did not work out. But hopefully next time he tours, I'll be able to sneak in a US tour date or something. Actually, I have a friend that lives in Pennsylvania as well, so we were gonna go to a concert of his together in Philly, like at the Wells Fargo one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we bought tickets together, and it was gonna be super fun and super exciting. And then COVID, so then it didn't work out. But hopefully next time.
Yeah, next time I come down to Pennsylvania, let me know. We can do something. Or next time I come
Sounds good. We'll do.
Yeah, and like before COVID hit, like me and my friend were thinking about going to see Justin Bieber at the Wells Fargo Center because I have been a Justin Bieber fanatic since I was a baby. So I'm like, I need to see him. But then COVID hit, and then my world has turned upside down. Like, oh,
yeah,
out.
Yeah.
But you have a podcast called Girl Stuff Podcast, which I totally recommend checking out. But what made you and your friends start it? Like in the idea?
Yeah, it was a very funny thing that happened. So these are the people that I met through Julie and the Phantoms, which is a Netflix show that got released last year. Kind of like in between lockdowns and stuff. It was an interesting time, but I watched the show and then I got paired up. Well, I commented on a TikTok that was like, oh, we should do like an Instagram group chat with everyone who's into Julie and the Phantoms. So I commented on it and I got added into that group chat. And in that group chat, I met Mel and Daya, who used to be part of Ghost Up Podcast, and Taylor as well, who was also part at one point. And we kind of like talked, and we kind of like, how it always is, you've got like a big group and then like a smaller group. So we were kind of like the smaller group of people who hung out and talked quite often. And then we'd be on Zoom calls all the time or Google Meet calls all the time, and literally like just chatted to each other about everything and nothing. And it was kind of fun to just be able to like have company when we couldn't do anything else. And then like around Christmas time, like in December, we were talking about something that had happened, and like we were very like passionate about it. And I was like, haha, guys, like what if we started a podcast? And they were like, wait. I was like, no, I'm joking. Like we can't start a podcast. That's not gonna work. And then they were like, why not? Let's just do it. I'm like, no one's gonna care. Like, why are we gonna do this? And they're like, well, who cares? Like, it's just for us to do. It's fun. It's like, we are already on a call anyways. Might as well just record it and post them online. So we kind of like just started it up, and Girl Stuff is kind of like a hint at Julie and the Phantoms, because one of the scenes in the, I want to say, second episode has like a line that's like, oh, Girl Stuff. And then Ella, who's another person on the in the podcast, she wrote the theme song for it, and it was super fun. And it was just kind of like, we wanted to not only elevate stories that don't get told, so for example, talking about misogyny or talking about being a female in the 21st century, and how like it's harder for us to do things because you're young and you're a girl, so who cares, type of thing. But also talk to people about like the industry, and about like, what if I want to be a choreographer? What if I want to be a dancer? What if I want to be a graphic designer? Like, what are some things that they face in their careers that could help us learn and grow and stuff? So it's been very, very nice. It's been very eye-opening. I've been blessed to be able to talk to like really, really cool people. But yeah, like that's kind of where it stemmed from. It's just 5 girls who were kind of bored and had so much time on their hands, and now we're all back to being busy, so it's kind of a bit harder for us to like do anything with the podcast. We still have some episodes that are coming out, but we don't have time to sit and edit. So they're being postponed just a little bit. Maybe by the time this comes out, there'll be another episode out. But until then, it's been very much, it's been an amazing outlet in terms of like just talking to people and making new friends, which is something I love to do. So
Yeah, exactly. Like one of the reasons really why I started this whole thing is like because like I was bored this whole quarantine. I had nothing to do, like you said before, and like the only and I love to talk to people in the industry and try to be friends with them, try to talk to them because like you said before, like women really face a lot of discrimination, face a lot of hate about what they look or what they need to do or judge them. And mostly people in the industry, like people are always judged or need to react this way or like how they look. Like that's kind of hard about being female really right now is like we're facing that. And like my point is like, why would they treat women like this? We're more powerful than you think. Like you think, oh, we're just people that are nothing, all boys that do all these jobs and girls do nothing. Like it's not kind of like it's like we girls do anything you can do. Like you think, oh, girls can do anything, but you can do what you can do. Like
yeah.
crazy. So like that's really why I started this. Because like I just show people that like you with your podcast and other people really in the industry, like you guys are doing this show, like, oh, there are people like you can be anything. Like you like don't let people judge you for who you are. So I'm like,
Yep.
why someone needs to show someone that you can be this person, whoever you are, and this you're strong and you can be anything.
Yeah, and it definitely is like it goes a lot further than just, you know, like females. There are a lot of males that still get also kind of impacted by the media. So it's been very nice to just lift up the stories of people and allow them to share their point of views. I've learned a lot from these interviews and from just talking to people and being able to just connect with them. There's a few people who like my heart just like poured out for them because of things that they faced and kind of where they came from to where they are now. So it's definitely been like a true testament of like if you really want something and you work towards it, it's rewarding at the end of the day. And that's just been like really, really cool. So yeah, no, it's I think podcasts and like this avenue that we've been given of like Zoom calls is definitely very good because when you can't do anything, you can still connect with people. And I think that's the cool thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I totally agree with that. So you guys really interview some amazing people on your podcast. Do you have a favorite like person or like anyone that your friends interview that's like you have a favorite one?
You're gonna get me in trouble with this answer. You're really gonna get me in trouble. Favorite, okay, so like the thing is everyone we've interviewed has become someone so special to me that like it's kind of hard. So, you know, we got to interview Cash, who she's our first guest on the podcast. And if anyone doesn't know who Cash is one of the most charismatic and loving people I have ever gotten the chance to know. She was also a fan of Jewel and the Phantoms, but she did get a platform from her videos. She's an absolute sweetheart. And getting to talk to her and just like get her side of the story also as like a 20-something-year-old who's trying to live life and figure out what she wants to do next was kind of cool. We got to interview Tori Caro and got to talk to her about like choreography and how she got into that. And that was really, really fun. Carolyn Shada was, oh my goodness, I felt like I was sitting at a TED Talk. And sometimes I just rewatch that interview because it's very motivational, inspirational. And if people don't know who Carolyn is, you should go look her up because she is someone you're going to want to follow on social media. She's very wise. We got to interview Ian Tucker and Kat Connor Sterling from A Week Away. And if no one knows anything about me, I am a big camp geek. I went to Christian camp all the time as a kid. So seeing a movie made by Netflix that's like Christian camp, I was like, this is amazing. So I definitely really like took advantage of that and like hyped that movie up a lot. But we got to talk to Ian Tucker, who plays oh my goodness, it's been a while since I've seen this movie. He plays Sean, who is like the bad boy of the camp, and then Kat Connor Sterling, who plays Presley. in the movie as well, and those two were really nice to just talk to them about like just not just filming Christian camp, but like their lives and how they've grown up, but also all the other stuff that they do on the side that's not just acting. So that's cool. And then most recently, which I think is the coolest one that people are always kind of like talking about the most, we interviewed the Ginny and Georgia cast, which that was like a shot in the dark type of thing. We were like, why not ask and we'll see what happens. And I think we got like majority of the cast actually, which was kind of cool. But that was a very I didn't actually watch Ginny and Georgia until we interviewed one person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Mel was trying to get me to watch Ginny and Georgia, and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch it. Like, you know, I'm not gonna.
It might not be like my type of style, like show.
It's not that. I saw a lot of mixed reviews online, and I was kind of hesitant to start it.
Oh yeah.
I was kind of like, you know, maybe later on, if I have some time, I'll watch it then. But then it would like I had like a weekend off where I had nothing to do, and I was like, well, let me just watch this while I do a puzzle and say I watched it to end it kind of thing. I finished the whole show and didn't tell anyone I watched it up until we did the first interview where I was like, oh yeah, by the way, Mela, actually, I did watch the show, to which she got very upset that I didn't tell her I was watching it because she wanted to watch it with me. But that was kind of cool because we did get to talk to a lot of different people from that show, and they're all such amazing, amazing people, off screen and on screen. We got to learn a lot more like in-depth details about the show. So if you ever have anything you want to just have something playing in the background, feel free to watch those interviews and kind of like let us know what you think, because I think they have a story that needs to be told and shared, and it's really nice to have that avenue to help them share their stories as well. So
yeah, exactly. And like my Ginny and Georgia is like the show that I've been like every time I do something for school or something, that's the first thing I put on. Like I really can't wait for season 2. Like all the casts on and off screen are amazing.
Yep.
And like Brian Howie, who plays like adult Georgia, I absolutely adore her. If Brienne or someone that knows Brienne watching this, love you, Brienne, you're amazing. But like I adored her. I've been a fan of her for about a year, since before The Exorcist, not The Exorcist, Ginny and Georgia came out. I got her from The Exorcist, one of her other shows she came in. She's an amazing, amazing actress. And like I absolutely love and adore all the cast and Ginny and Georgia, and they're amazing. I actually will love watching those episodes of your podcast with the Ginny and Georgia.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched it yet, I totally recommend.
Yeah, it was definitely really cool because I grew up watching a lot of those actresses and actors.
Yeah.
A lot of them were on Degrassi, which is like it's kind of a joke, and I joked with a couple of people from the show. I was like, a show was filmed in Toronto when, and it's because the people who were on it were also on Degrassi, which is like that is the Canadian show. So people like Drake were on Degrassi, and Nina Dobrev, who's Elena Gilbert on Vampire Diaries, she was also on Degrassi. Sarah Waisglass and Chelsea Clark, and like there's so many people that like they started off there. Even Charlie Gillespie was on Degrassi, right? So it's like a really funny joke that like these, whoever was on Degrassi ends up, when it's filmed in Toronto. So it was kind of cool to like be like, oh my gosh, I remember watching you on TV on like it's random Tuesday night because that's when the show aired, and now like here, look at you now type of thing. So it's really, really cool to just be able to like, a lot of them I was like fans of them as a kid, so getting to talk to them as an adult, I was kind of like, that's kind of sick. I'm kind of starstruck, but it's okay.
Sometimes if I'm like a really big fan of someone, like I have some people on my podcast that I'm like I grew up watching or just a big fan of them now. I'm like most of the time I probably be start shaking, like the whole time I'd be like, oh my god, I can't believe it right now. Like most of the time, like if you live in Toronto, like people on everyone in Toronto, like
it's really easy to bump into someone here that like, I mean, if you follow me on TikTok, you might know this story, but like I bumped into Shawn Mendes randomly one time at a basketball game, like if I went to a hockey game a couple weeks ago, I would have bumped into Josh Richards, right? Because like we're just all so chill and we see each other and we're like, okay, bye.
Yeah, say
So,
hi, picture them by.
and not even then, like, I mean, I don't have any pictures with Shawn. I have pictures of Shawn Mendes, but not pictures with him, right? But it's a different dynamic. Toronto's very known for like its TV show and movie world that
Yeah.
it's kind of been normalized within our culture. So, down the street from me, they film Hallmark movies, and I'm like, that's cool. Okay, just don't block my street because I need to get to work.
Yeah.
Or I need my coffee. So no worries, film all you want, but make sure I can get my coffee in the morning because otherwise I won't be happy. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
obsessed with coffee. Like I'm not allowed to drink it, but I'm like upset, begging my parents to let me drink coffee. Oh, you have your coffee right now.
I have my iced coffee. It's
Always
not
have your coffee. Don't.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so you're talking like about camping and stuff. Like, do you have a favorite kind of camp, like any kind of camp movie that you like, or like a
Well,
favorite?
A Week Away would be the one that would stand out.
Oh
Summer
man.
camp was always a big thing for me, and I still do summer camping. I don't do cabin camping, I do tent camping. So it's a lot of sticks in the stone and hitting a hammer for a nail to go in. But I love camp. I love unplugging for a week or two. Or even a weekend. Like I think unplugging is a really good thing for mental health and for just emotional health as well. So I definitely I'm a camper, and A Week Away has kind of re-enlightened that camper in me. But I haven't gone to church camp in a while because COVID. But hopefully I'll be going to church camp soon. We have a fall kind of camp thing that we usually do, so that will be like later on this year. But that's always like a I don't know. I love retreats and like kind of getting away. So those are always
Yeah.
really fun to do.
Yeah, same here. Like, did you ever like watch like Camp Rock, or like there's a movie on Netflix with Kevin Quinn, and there's like a singing kind of camping movie?
Yeah. So Kevin Quinn's that's A Week Away.
Oh,
That's
A Week Away, yeah. Have you
yes.
seen those movies?
A Week Away I have seen. I've seen it way too many times. Camp
Same
Rock
here.
I've also seen way too many times. I usually do a Disney binge once a month. So
Me too,
I'll
me too.
watch Camp Rock. I'll watch Jonas. I'll watch High School Musical, the movies, not the show. Yeah, like old school Disney stuff. Like I'll watch Hannah Montana movie, like all the Wizards movies. So I was a big Disney decom fan. So I want to keep that up. So those are some stuff that I
Yeah, I'm the same exact way. I'm like an old kind of 2000s Disney freak. Like I know, like I see if you would name something fast and be like, oh yeah, I watch that thing. To me,
yeah,
it was like my childhood. I watch it like every single day. Like
yeah.
I'm obsessed with Zac Efron. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's like,
All of his movies. I just watched Charlie St. Cloud because I
oh
love
yeah, I love that movie. That's amazing.
yeah.
I need to watch it. I haven't watched it in a while, so I need to watch it. But
Yeah, it's my go-to if I need a good cry. I'll watch Charlie St.
yeah,
Cloud.
that's a movie I need to cry from. I cry every time I watch that movie. But
Yep.
you don't only have a podcast, but you also a photographer. How did you come to that idea of being a photographer?
Yeah, so photography has been a very, very interesting part of my life. It's something that I do want to do full time one day. Basically, in high school here in Canada, you have to do an arts class in grade 9 in your freshman year. And I'm not a painter. I like coloring, but like when it's like therapy, not when it's homework type of thing. And I'm not good at like pottery or like
Yeah,
making things with my hands. So
yeah, same
I
here.
was I was kind of struggling with my art class, and then my teacher was actually the photography teacher at the school. So he included a photography unit in the class itself, and I held the camera and I'm like, this is sick. Okay, whatever. And then like I kind of like moved on from my life. And then in junior and senior year, we had photography classes. So actually, I just took them because I liked photography. I thought it was kind of cool, and I was like, okay, well, it's a fun hobby to have. I then actually went to university for it, so I did study it in college, and I did 4 years of college, just studying photography, both theory and hands-on and stuff. And now I get to photograph people's weddings and engagements and baby shoots and family shoots, and it really I'm a big social person. I love being around people. I love meeting new people. So it kind of puts the whole concept of like being part of special moments and then being social in one place. It's expensive, but it's one of my, it's a thing that does bring me not just joy, but also I feel very relieved and safe holding a camera. So that's kind of, yeah, I live life in pictures. I always think in pictures. I'm always like, oh, I wish I kind of took a photo of this, or oh, I need to take a photo here so I can, like, remember it or post it or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of, I just held a camera, and when I was 14 years old, and I was like, this is what I want to hold the camera for the rest of my life, whether it's
Yeah.
career or if it's just a hobby. So thankfully, my career actually does have photography in it, as well as my side job of being a photographer. So I'm very blessed to have that.
Yeah, I love that. Like, do you like? I remember from Ginny in Georgia, like at Kyle Berry's character. I forget. Oh, Zion. I forgot his character for a second.
Yeah.
I remember him saying like, "Through what lens is the only thing I see." That's really the first thing I thought of when you're talking, because like through the lens, it's like where some photographers really exist. It's through the lens, and every place I go, whether it's a game or seeing family or whoever it is, I remember always asking to take pictures, because I remember always thinking like, oh, looking at pictures always makes me happy wherever I am. So I remember like, oh, like photography is kind of that's something that I always kind of wanted to do, but I never knew if it was something I always wanted to try, like always something I wanted to do. So like every time I think of that, like think of photography, I always think like, oh, what Zion said, like for the lens always exists to me. And that's really one of my favorite quotes. It's like always like for the lens.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's like the truest thing when it comes to photography, is that, like, I mean, obviously my career requires me to be physically and mentally aware of what's happening around, because it's all about moments. But like, it definitely, when I travel, when I do anything, like, I really make it a thing to take pictures of the scenery and just those surroundings, because when am I ever going to be in the middle of mountains with like bright blue waters, or when am I
Yeah.
ever going to be seeing a sunset on, like, literally the desert because of where I am in the world, right? So
Mhm.
it's definitely it's the statement of the through the lens is how the world makes sense to me is one of the things that spoke to me about the show. And I think it's
Yeah.
different for every photographer, for sure, especially if you're like, if you do a lot of like landscapes and buildings, it's different than if you do weddings, it's different than if you do food. But that's the cool thing about it, is there's never a wrong thing with it. It's a very personal and preferable thing. So if you are wanting to pick it up, a phone does just as much as a camera does now.
Yeah.
um not saying my job
It's
away,
a
but
different like a photograph for like a camera takes better pictures than a phone now. So it's not better.
it does. Oh, definitely it does. Especially if you know how to use the camera. But even just when I'm at games, like, obviously I don't bring my camera, but I'll bring my phone, and I'm always like, okay, I need a couple of pictures so that if I'm ever in lockdown again, I know where to go if I need some, like, serotonin. So it's
Yeah.
those kind of things that it's been definitely one of my favorite things about what I've been able to do. And the cool thing is I can take it anywhere. It's not just a sit at home at work type of thing. It's actually, it does what I wanted to do, which is take me around the world and see really cool things and meet really cool people. So yeah, definitely Zion was a character I related to the most.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, Zion is like Kyle Berry really put the character perfectly. Like he did
Yes.
character. And like my favorite thing to do is travel. Like, but over last year we haven't had the time due to travel due to COVID-19 and quarantine. We're not able to leave the house. And my favorite thing to do is like travel. Like I once quarantine hit, like I was like, I don't want to get out of this house. Like I just don't want to be stuck in my area. I just want to travel, explore new things, or go to the same places, get some
Yeah.
sun. Let's go get out of the state for a little bit. But over the last year, like I traveled a bit, but not as much as I used to, because I'm used to being active. I used to being like a very travelist person with my family. But after this year of COVID, I'm like, oh, I guess it's not a thing anymore. Like
Yeah.
travel.
Yeah, it's definitely getting better. And I think with vaccinations, it's definitely going to change how we do things in the world, right? But like, I'm a travel bug. That's how I like to introduce myself. I love to see
Yeah.
new places, and even if it's a road trip, I will do a road trip. So I'm definitely excited to go back to Target because we don't have Target here. That's something not a lot of people know, but we do not have a Target in Canada. So being able to cross the border for a day and just spend it at Walden Galleria in Buffalo is always a fun thing for us to do. So yeah, no, I'm very excited to see like how we can travel again and kind of like bring back some normalcy into our lives with a lot of changes. But I think change is always good. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So the final question for the interview is, do you have anyone that influenced you with photography or having a podcast?
Um, Influences, obviously, yes. I have a lot of it's mainly photographers. I'm not a surprisingly, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I only listen to episodes my friends would send me actually. The one podcast I did listen to quite a lot was Sunset Drive, and my friend Anthony actually runs that one. He is, oh my goodness, can't not say anything about him that isn't just full of love and adoration. If no one has checked out Sunset Drive podcast, you should definitely check it out. He talks about everything and nothing with a lot of people as well. But yeah, I was never really a big podcast person growing up, but over quarantine I picked up a couple. But again, like I just listened to some episodes here and there. The one I've been recently listening to is the Drama Queens podcast,
Oh,
which is a podcast with Sophia Bush, Hillary, and Bethany Joy Lenz, who played Brooke Davis, Peyton Sawyer, and Haley Scott in One Tree Hill, which again, my favorite show. So getting to listen to them kind of like talk about the show and their experience on it, but also their point of view for different episodes. It's kind of cool. But photography, I have a ton of inspiration. I love concert photography because I love concerts. I was like, what? I can get paid to take pictures at concerts and then attend the concert? That sounds sick. So Brie Hart is she used to be Louis Capaldi's photographer. I don't know with COVID what's happened, but I know she did used to photograph his concerts. She's one of my favorite concert photographers. And then in terms of just for wedding photographers and people photographers, I can't pick a favorite because my best friend's one. I have my own like friends who are photographers, so I think the cool thing about this community is that it's not a competition. It's a community, and we're always, like if I'm not available, I'll send the person to someone else, or if they're not available, they'll send people to me. So it's very much of like a give and take. And the cool thing is that it really shows that we talk about how the media can pin people against each other and oh
yeah.
well I want to be a photographer so you can be like all of this stuff. But I think the one thing that photography has taught me and like the different workshops I've attended and stuff like that is that you don't have to compete with anyone else because you're you and you're unique
Yeah.
in that sense. So creating a community where you feel like you can just be yourself is just as important as it is to be good at something. So I learn a lot from all the photographer friends that I know, not just in terms of poses and stuff like that, but character and business side of things and marketing side of things and how to deal with people and how to interact with other people and stuff. So it's definitely been, it's amazing. So yeah, in terms of inspiration, I have way too many like people who I look up to in terms of photography. But I think the one thing I would just tell people is if you are doing anything, no matter what field you're in, never look at it as a competition. Just look at it as these are people who will help you better yourself and build your skills in ways that you don't even know could happen. So that's the one thing that I just want to add in there as well.
Yeah, same here. Like there's really too many people I can point out like that really inspires me. Like there's no like specifically one person.
Yeah.
This me the most. Like I have two people in my family that do journalism stuff, and like they work for my local news station for where I live. So they kind of I look up to the most for what I do, and like there's so many people I can really name. Like I listen, like over the last year, I listened to a lot of podcasts. Like there's so many. Even before quarantine, I listened a lot. Like Tell Me with Ellen Pompeo. She put
Yep.
Riddick Gray on
Yep.
Grey's Anatomy. I love Ellen Pompeo. She's like one of my inspirations on what I do, and some things I pull over from my podcast that she does to try to kind of make it a little like better and try to make a little more views and try to make it a little better. And that's like she's probably my favorite, one of my favorite people that I look up to. And Courtney Turner, she's a baseball wife. She's the wife of Justin Turner. She's a host of Holding Court. Like I those are my two people that I really look up to the most. With podcasts is Ellen and Courtney. Like they're amazing. Like I've been listening to them for years now, and like they're just amazing. I can't. And if you're seeing this, thank you. Send me a message. I want you guys to be on, please. So send me a message.
I think I wish I was into podcasts a little bit more, but I find it a little. It's nice to be on the other side of it where you're creating the content. I do watch a lot of podcasts if they're on YouTube and stuff, but I'm a big like music person, so I'd rather be blasting some music in the car on a ride than be serious and have to like think about something and then apply it to my life type of thing, right? So like I wish I was into podcasts a little bit more, but I think there are some amazing ones out there that do just about everything. There's podcasts for just about everything. So I think podcasts are cool, and
music is like I always blast music in the car, or always in general with my earphones. I always blast it to the point where I can't hear my parents, because like I'm like music to me is like my breakthrough. Whenever having anxiety or whatever, having a bad day, always makes me cheer up. Whether it's like Shawn Mendes, the Jonas Brothers, Ariana, Backstreet Boys, or whoever it is. I'm really into pops, or really any artist, even as like Olivia Rodrigo or anyone. Music is kind of like my breakthrough in life, basically. Like it's always takes me like whatever's going on in your life, even if you're going through a hard time or whatever, it always kind of makes you feel better, always makes you connect with it. And like that's what I love about music, because like it's always kind of a breakthrough and always makes you happy, no matter what the artist is or the song. You don't, it's like some people don't like this artist but only like the song. So that's kind of how I kind of play. It's like I like the song but not the artist. I'm like that's how basically a lot of people go through. Is like they like the song, but that really the artist, basically.
100%.
Yeah. So I just want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I truly appreciate it, taking time out of your day, and you're doing amazing in your podcast. And make sure to keep going with that. I'll definitely keep watching. It's definitely a much watch, and basically everyone go watch the rest of the podcast. I totally recommend it. And I just want to thank you so much for coming on. We'll stay in touch and we'll speak soon.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. It was really great talking to you.
Of course. It was great talking to you too.
All right. Bye. Have a good one.
You too.